Tell me, mannequin, what brings you to move? Is it all of the colors in the magazine following sucks? Paint your face, not pose and filter the mood. Give it all you've got, you're just... Oh, God. Okay, we gotta knock this out. Let's just get to it. Hello and welcome back to the media stand where the grass is green and my jokes are witty. I told myself I was going to do a lot of reviews and I kind of fell behind. Now we're in a new year and I'm trying to do things a little different with recent releases that have come out and the fact that January was sci-fi month, so I spent most of the month watching sci-fi things. I've got 3 different things I'm going to talk about today, one of which being the cell. We're going to get to that. But first, I did want to talk about the Terminator 4K release. Now, there's already been a lot said about this, and apparently there has been some upscaling. There is some DNR that has been applied, but honestly, it's not that bad. There are those, if you really dig deep into it, you'll notice some different things, and it's really come a long way from Terminator 2, but it looks fine. The opening scene with Arnold booping into the present, or 1984, looks phenomenal. I started to maybe notice a little bit of a brightness difference from the old Blu-ray, and I kind of did a side-by-side comparison, and honestly, the brightness is like negligible. But the opening, the scene with Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor and the leaning over in the front seat of the car as he does his exposition dump, looks amazing. The pre-police station gear up with Arnold looks good. Those are like your high points. You do notice, and even on the Blu-ray you would notice, but it's like a little bit more apparent now, moments when it was not quite in focus, and that's just the way it was shot on the film. Can't do anything about that. The contrast, sharpness, saturation all look good. There are a few moments where you can tell there's some over sharpening, but like I said, it's so negligible. It doesn't distract you from anything, and there's no waxy DNR. To me, I think the thought that it's brighter is just the HDR. You're going to have a difference in that, and it's something that I guess I'm still optically getting used to. I did upgrade my TV, so there's that. But the audio, you do get the 5.1 DTS, and they've brought back a mono track. Apparently, it's not the original mono track. It is a mono track made from the stems of everything in the 5.1, if that matters to you. I don't care. What I want to talk about is I opted for the steelbook, partly because I have the steelbook of 2 that was released by Lionsgate, but also I had no clue what it would look like. I got on the original pre-order that Zavvi posted, because I've thought maybe this would go quicker. I've waited for the first Terminator to hit 4K for a long time. It's actually my favorite amongst all of them. Yes, even over 2. There's just something about 1 that really hits me. And I think it's something I've developed more over time. When I was a kid, I definitely watched Terminator 2 a lot more, but 1 is my new favorite. So yes, I jumped on when Zavvi put their original pre-order up because I wanted to get this. What that meant was I got the UK release, so I did get a Blu-ray disc, and they have the little restriction markers on the discs. It also means that it took forever for me to get this. When everybody else was posting online like, "Ooh, I got me Terminator." Not me. I don't know why I sounded like that. That's not what everybody sounds like. It took quite a while for Zavvi to ship it, but I will say when they shipped it, it was double boxed and it was very well protected. Their shipping, maybe that's why it takes so long. They had to find all of the British nesting boxes to put their steelbook in. A keen observer will know that maybe I'm bringing this up because Zavvi just put up a pre-order for a steelbook collection of the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. I am right now hesitant to do this. 1, because of my experience of pre-ordering with Zavvi, but also I kind of want to wait to see what other options pop up. Options that might appear in the US or other regions as opposed to the UK options. But also, there's mixed information. On Zavvi's US site, it just says a steelbook collection. So we don't know if it's going to be one big steelbook full of 7 discs or a steelbook with like 3 discs and all 7 movies just scattered about them. But on Zavvi UK, it talks about how it is a It's 7 steelbooks within an outer steel case. I'm kind of picturing something similar to the Rambo set or the Transformers set, the Jurassic World set. We've had a lot of these come out and they're all very big and bulky and very expensive. And that's what I'm thinking it's going to be, because the price tag on this is $260. I'm a little hesitant to drop that kind of money on something I've not seen a real picture of. Now, I didn't get the Rambo or the Jurassic World or Transformers giant steel book boxes, because I think they're just like obnoxiously large and they were prohibitively expensive. Good for you if you could afford them, but I couldn't. But what I did find is the Hunger Games Steelbook 4K set that does have all 4 steelbooks inside a smaller box. If this is something that we would get for Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm in. I don't know if I'm $260 in, but I'd be thinking about it. I, like many people, have been waiting a long time for a Nightmare on Elm Street collection to come out. But if you're going to ask me if I'm talking or if I'm buying, right now I'm just talking. I want more information. I want to know what's going to be available. And it's also slated to come out in December of this year. That's a long time to be putting a $260 layaway on. Now we're going to talk about the cell. I've been a fan of the cell for a long time. What we get from Arrow Video is a fantastic release for this. Now, let's compare it to Terminator. You get a true 4K scan upgrade, but it's a 4K scan of the interpositive of both the theatrical and director's cut, because the original master is gone. But when they reached out to the director, he got Arrow Video in contact with the director of photography, who had a full HD scan of an alternate cut with a different aspect ratio and color grade. There's a fascinating story behind this, and it's all in very, very well done interviews with both the director of photography, about not only the post-production process of cutting the film in a very particular way that led to issues that would probably lead to why there is no master of the original. And the director of photography saw this, and it was right at the advent of making digital scans of film. So there was a digital inner negative that was made of the original cut, the director's cut, and they were done at standard definition at the time. And the director of photography said, we can do this at 1,000 lines, which would now be full HD, to have a better master, because he thought maybe the original master would disappear. The studio opted to not pay for it because at the time it was very expensive. So he made for himself a digital master of his version with a taller aspect ratio and much more flat and somewhat desaturated color grade that gives a very different feel. So for the first time in, well, 25 years, you have that. This is a fantastic release with great behind the scenes, great interviews, with one little flaw. You've probably heard it from other people. On the director's cut, there is a duplicated sequence about 15 minutes in during a dream sequence. It's noticeable. It's noticeable. It's noticeable. But other than that, this is phenomenal. If there were not the weird flaw on the director's cut, this would be a perfect release. And you might also argue a fault in what's available. You get the theatrical and director's cut on a 4K disc from 4K Scans, and on a Blu-ray disc, you get the alternate cut and a couple other interviews. But that's it. The Blu-ray disc is only for the alternate cut. You do not get the other cuts in an HD format on Blu-ray. This has been pretty standard for Arrow for past few months, or at least a little while, going back to Trick or Treat or the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. But for me, that's fine. I still have the Blu-ray. I still have a VHS. That also takes us to The Invasion. This, again, only comes with one 4K disc, one cut of the movie, a couple video essays about Invasion of the Body Snatchers in general, and then everything that was on the previous Blu-ray. It's not a huge package here. You get a great 4K scan, it looks amazing, but not a whole lot extra. And that might be why At the time it came out, it just so happened to be that there was a 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble, which led to price matching at Amazon, so on the day of release you could get this for $24. That's probably what it should cost. So this is where we're at the beginning of 2025. There's a stark difference in what you get from the Terminator 4K, the Cell 4K, and the Invasion. Boutiques might be more likely to put effort into a release, give you more special features and better scans than studios, but they also have faults. This is kind of the chaotic situation we're in. Prices are going up, quality is kind of stagnating. This is physical media right now. What I would like to do going forward, I still want to do reviews of physical media, and I will try to do that. I'll try to get caught up with everything from 2024 that I can, but I'm going to do it in some batches, okay? And I'm probably not going to go too in-depth. I'll give you a quick review of what I got. Everything from Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Scream Factory, Shout Factory, Blue Underground, and Arrow Video. And then I'm going to try and get caught up with what's coming out in the moment, and I want to do, yes, more in-depth reviews of movies. It's just that I've been very busy here lately. I have a 7-year-old. So if you want to see me try to do a race to catch up with 2024 while also staying up to date with 2025 and doing some movie reviews, then subscribe, like this video, and stick around for more. Yeah! Eat shit, motor mouth. Swallow all of it down. You're pretty when you put your face on, yeah, when you shut that mouth.